Hello everyone, and welcome to the English Teacher's Guides to the brand new EDEXCEL GCSE Literature exams. And today we're focusing on how to plan question B for the Shakespeare and post-1914 examination, which is paper 1. So here's an outline of the exam. It's a 50% exam in terms of your total grade. It's a 1 hour and 45-minute paper, and there are two sections. Section A is Shakespeare, and there are two questions there. One is based entirely on an extract alone, and the second question, which is what we're looking at today, question B, you could focus maybe on another extract of your choice or the whole play. The second section of our exam, section B, is a post-1914 essay based on a text that you've been studying in class. Alright, two questions for you. 1. What does the mark scheme say you need to include in order to achieve perfect marks, which in this question is 20 out of 20? And then, what method should you use in order to accomplish 20 out of 20? So note down your answer or revise your answer now. Press pause. When you're ready, press play to resume. Okay, so here's the mark scheme. So in order to achieve top band, 20 out of 20, you need to make sure, the first bullet point, you need to make sure that you know what you're talking about. Make sure that obviously you create ideas which are intelligent, and make sure you engage at a high level. So it's not just basic plot parts, you're looking at interesting individual quotes that might be used here, there and everywhere in the play. Second bullet point, critical style is developed. So that means you're able to analyse, you're able to explore the text in detail. Perceptive interpretation, basically great ideas. Not just simply saying things like Macbeth is evil. That's not necessarily complex enough. Discerning references is all about your ability to use text and use the text well. So one-word quotations, integrate your quotations into your work. That's exactly what you need to be doing. And then finally, to get 20 out of 20, you need to make sure for question B that you are using context, but not just throwing in random historical facts you've remembered about Macbeth, but actually context that links in with what you're saying about the actual question itself. And also, it's worth bearing in mind that context doesn't have to just be historical, it can be social as well, but it also can be context in relation to the play. So it could also be, why is this moment important to the whole play? Okay, let's look at a method, shall we? So in order to plan this question effectively, you need to do the following things. You need to consider whether you want to focus on one other plot part, or if you want to explore the whole theme, the entire play. Now, the reason why I say that is because the example materials, the exam board is given out, does actually use, some of them use one plot part in particular and do very well. Others use the whole text. And I think obviously you need to be looking at using the whole text as well, because that makes you sound more assured, makes you more sophisticated. However, if you're able to produce 3 excellent points based on one particular extract to answer the question, do it. Obviously, read the question carefully. Always make sure to underline the key parts of it to make sure you're not getting it wrong. Then, if you are using another extract of your choice, you're pretty much going to follow the method that's been explored for question A, but obviously you must remember to include context. If you're not, you're going to use the whole play, then obviously continue to listen. So you'll write down 3, 4, 5 ideas which answer the question, and obviously they're your points. Select the best 3, because we've only got about 20 or so minutes to write this. It's not a long time. That's why it's not a full, proper essay as such. Once you've got your 3 points you're happy with, you know you can produce excellent ideas, perceptive understanding, then make sure you find your evidence. And remember, it doesn't just have to be quotes. It can be things like form. So for instance, if this is a soliloquy, why does that matter? It could be structure, so is that sentence order? If someone speaks for a certain length of time as opposed to another character, using the last word, for instance. These are all things that are relevant. Once you've found your evidence, you need to make sure you create notes of analysis which briefly explain how your evidence proves your point. Make sure you include notes of context as well, which link to your analysis. Once you've done that, you're ready to go. That takes practice, but once you practice it, you get quicker and quicker. Keep those practices, keep different question practices, because then they're all questions that you could potentially be getting in the exam. Here's a question. Let's have a look at it. In this extract, there is conflict between the characters. So obviously it's a reflection of question 1A, which is an extract based on conflict. Explore the importance of conflict elsewhere in the play. In your answer, you must consider how conflict is shown and the reasons for conflict. So I've read it carefully, I've underlined the key parts, I've decided to use the whole play, and this is my plan. So you can see I've got my 3 points highlighted, I've got my evidence noted down. You might want to write down the acts and scenes that you can use. That's entirely up to you. It's your plan. You don't necessarily get extra marks for being able to tell someone where something is in the play. But then, as you can see, we've now got notes of analysis. So some of it's basic analysis. Some of it starts to look at the detail of language here. So the simile suggests, like angels, God is pleased with him. We've also got this idea of plague and the inventor. Gives like a disease, it infects others. Serious murder slowly leads to his death as well. So you can hear that detail of explanation there. And underneath each one, you can see I've included context. And obviously, I will expand on that in my answer, which you can see in the next video. But it talks about the idea of the plague. It talks about divine right. When we talk about verbal conflict, we talk about this idea of the actual belief in hell, and the role of men, role of knights. When we look at our physical conflicts, as you can see, we look at the turmoil of the time. So this idea of the medieval period in terms of lots of conflicts and battles, particularly up in Scotland, but also obviously in reference to the succession of James I to the crown and the uncertainty that brought with it as well. That's how I plan my work. You might do spiral diagrams, entirely up to you, but you can see I've got my points, I've got my evidence, I've got my analysis, I've also got my context. I just have to turn it into full sentences, and that's what you can view in our next video. So thank you very much for listening. Please make sure you revise that method, and when you're ready, watch the second video on how to answer the question. Thank you.